Sometimes maths just doesn't make sense. I want to understand it. Let's get together for Sunday best and to learn about faith with our friend Church Mouse Jess.
Oh, now where is it? I know it was right here, but I've looked everywhere. Oh, this can't be right.
Hey, Jess. Hey, that's a lot of cheese things. What are those?
Well, I collect model cheeses.
Model cheese? Well, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes, model cheeses, and I have more than 100 of them. But there's one missing, and I can't find it anywhere.
Well, Jess, these cheeses all look the same to me. How do you know if you're missing one?
Well, they may all look the same to you, but believe me, they're special in their own way. And I can't stand the thought of one of them missing from the others. I've been looking for what seems like hours.
Well, if you have hundreds of cheeses, why do you care if you lose just one?
Because every one of them is special to me. Every one of them has a story where I found it. Like this one here, it's a chunk of cheddar given to me by my Uncle Jed. And this one over here is the Swiss. Oh, and Aunt Jen brought me this one all the way from France.
Oh, wow. Well, I can see why they're important to you then.
Oh, and the one I'm missing, it's a moldy looking one, but it's extra special to me. I found it in the school trash. I was sitting in some kid's abandoned science experiment.
And that made it special?
No, it's special because the night I found it at the school was the same night I crawled into the church to get warm. That was the night I found Father Jeff and started learning about all what it means to be Catholic.
Oh, that is a special piece of cheese then. But, Jess, wait a minute. Turn around here. I think I found your cheese. It was on your tail.
Oh, thank goodness. You know, it may not look like much, but I love it just the same as all my other cheeses. I would never stop looking for it.
You know, Jess, that's a special kind of love. It kind of sounds like God's love for us. It's called unconditional love.
Uncontagious love?
No, silly, unconditional love.
Is that kind of like how I love to lay in the sun and chase strings?
Oh, hey, Bonnie. Well, not exactly. See, God's love is unconditional, so that means He's going to love you no matter what. Really, it means that there's nothing so bad that you do that He wouldn't love you anymore.
I don't believe that's possible. I used to have a best friend named Theodore, and we were the best friends you have ever seen. Then one day he got mad at me because I was playing with Jess. He ran away, and I've never seen him again.
Oh, Bonnie, that is so sad. I bet that really hurt your heart.
Well, it did hurt my feelings, but it also taught me that no one can love you forever. They get mad at any time and just disappear.
You know, Bonnie, I can see why your experience would make you think that. But you know what? For thousands of years, people have found that God's love never fails. So that means you could do something really big and terrible, and God will forgive you, and He's going to still love you no matter what.
Hey there, friends.
Oh, hey, Luke. Man, I feel like we've been seeing you a lot lately.
It's been a very busy year for me. Hey, what's with all the cheese?
It's my model cheese collection. Every piece is very special. I thought I lost one, and I looked everywhere until I found it again.
Yeah, it's this kind of moldy looking cheese over here.
But even though it's moldy, I love it just as much as the others.
Oh, well, you will love the story I have for you today. I want to see if the Catholic kids out there can figure out why Jess's cheese reminds me of today's gospel.
Cheese makes you think of a Bible lesson? This I gotta hear.
Well, it starts out with Jesus talking to a crowd when all these sinners come in to listen. Some of the holy teachers, called Pharisees, started to complain. They even said, Jesus hangs out with sinners. He even eats with them. Basically, saying, what is he doing? They are bad.
Oh, and I bet Jesus didn't like that one bit.
No, he told them of a story to help teach them why they were wrong. It's called a parable, a make-believe story that is used to teach something else. Here, why don't you share it with them?
Tax collectors and sinners were gathered around to listen to Jesus, but they were all complaining. Can you believe Jesus not only welcomes sinners, but he eats with them too? So Jesus told them a story. There was a man with 2 sons, and the younger son said, Father, I want to move away. Please give me my share of your things. So the father divided the property between them and gave him his share. The son moved far away and spent every dime of his money on silly things. Suddenly, he realized he was out of money and had nothing to live on. He went to work for pig farmers and was so hungry, he even considered eating the pigs' food. He realized that his father treated his own workers better than he was being treated by the pig farmers. How many of my father's workers have more than enough to eat? But here I am, dying from hunger. I will go to him and tell him I've sinned against heaven and him. I no longer deserve to be called his son, but perhaps he will let me be one of his workers. As the son was walking up to his father's home, the father saw him and ran to him. He hugged him and listened as his son told him he no longer deserved to be his son and he would like to be one of his servants. But the father quickly turned to his servants and said, Quick! Bring the finest robe and put it on my son. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Let's prepare a fine feast and celebrate because this son of mine was dead but came back to life. He was lost and has been found. As the celebration was beginning, the older son heard the sound of music and dancing from the field. He asked his servant what was going on. Ah, yes, your brother has returned and your father is celebrating that he is back safe and sound. The brother became very angry. He found his father and said, Look, all these years I've been obedient and loyal to you. Not once did I disobey. But you never gave a feast with my friends. But here your son returns after gambling away all your money, and you prepare the finest meal for him. The father said to him, My son, you are with me always. Everything I have is yours. But we must celebrate and be glad because your brother was dead and has come back again. He was lost and has been found. You know, the first time I heard this story when I was a little girl, I felt like the older brother was right. I mean, I would have been really mad if somebody would have done all the wrong things and then come back and everybody celebrated like nothing had happened.
Yeah, I bet the older brother was wondering why no one gave him a party for doing the right thing.
Exactly. But you see, the Father's love was kind of like God's love for us. he didn't even see all those terrible things that his son had done. He was just so happy that his son was back and that he was sorry and that he could love him again in person.
Like how I didn't care that the cheese I lost was uglier than the others. I was just glad it was found again. I would never gave up on it.
You know what, Jess? Can I borrow your cheese for just a minute? I think I'm going to use it to help our Catholic kids better understand about the Father's love. Okay, Jess. So here we have the Father, and here's all of the things that he owns in his life. Maybe it's all his money that he's earned throughout life. Maybe it's his house. Maybe it's his car. And so he has 2 sons. So we have the younger son, Mr. Peanut Butter, and we have the older son, Mr. Jelly. So the younger son's like, Dad, you know what? One day you're going to pass away, and I'm going to get half of your things. How about you just go ahead and give those to me now? And the dad's like, okay, I'll give you half. So there goes all of his cheese, his precious cheese. That's about half. All right. So now the younger son, his pockets are hot, meaning he's ready to spend some money. So he leaves, and he leaves the father and he leaves his brother behind. So here he is. He's got all this money. He's ready to go. So he goes out and he said, you know what? I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5. Buy money. And then he says, you know what? I'm going to buy those really cool Jordan shoes that I've always wanted. So he spends that. And he says, you know what? I've always wanted a Porsche. I'm going to spend that too. Oh, he keeps spending money. He gambles money. He drinks things and uses it on food. And oh my gosh, then he buys a really big house. Let's see. Whoa, giant house. And then he just spends all that money and he's left with nothing. So now the younger son has nothing left and he realizes, oh gosh, I wasted all that money. I've wasted everything my father gave me. I wasted. And now I have no way to live. You have to have money to live, have to have money to eat. So he goes to find a job at a pig farm. And they treat him so badly that some days he looks at the pig's food and thinks, I'm so hungry, I would love to eat some pig food right now. And it's at that moment he says, you know what? My dad treats his servants better than that. I've got to go say I'm sorry. I need to say, oh my goodness, I've sinned against you. I've sinned against heaven. And so that's exactly what he does. He goes all the way back to his father's house. And he tells his father, he says, Father, I am sorry. I've sinned against you. I've sinned against God. I wasted all the things that you gave me. And you know what? I'm not even good enough for you to call me your son anymore. You can call me a servant and I will work for you. And his father says to another servant, go get him the best robe you can find. Go get him the best sandals you can find. Put a ring on his finger because my son was lost and now he's found. He is now home. And he gives him a big hug. And he says, you know what? Let's have a big party. Let's have a fiesta. Let's roast the biggest calf we could find. We're going to feed everybody. And the son's just dumbfounded. But meanwhile, the older son is out working in the fields and he hears all this music and excitement. And he says to his servant, he's like, what is going on over by the house? What is going on? And the servant says, your brother is home and your dad's throwing a big party. And he's like, are you kidding me? I'm out here working. I've been loyal to Dad and they're throwing a party for him. So he marches right up. Dad, what is going on? I have never disobeyed you before. And you've never thrown a party for me or my friends. And the dad says, you know what? You are always loyal to me and everything I have is yours. One day, this will all be yours. But I'm celebrating because my son was lost and now he's home. He said he's sorry and I've forgiven him and I love him and I'm glad to have him home. See, Jess, this brother here was covered with his father's love. And so even though the older brother didn't really understand why the dad forgave him, he had unconditional love for the boy. And so no matter what he did, he was going to take him home and forgive him no matter what.
And that's how Jesus loves us? No matter what?
Yes, he will love you no matter what, Bonnie.
Bonnie, I know your old friend didn't show you unconditional love, but I promise to be your friend no matter what.
Even if I take a piece of your cheese?
Yep, I will be your friend no matter what. Because if Jesus can forgive me for anything I do wrong, then I can forgive you too.
Jess, I think that's exactly what Jesus wanted us to learn in today's gospel. You see, when he saw the Pharisees getting upset that he was spending time with sinners and tax collectors, and oh, did those people hate tax collectors, he wanted them to see that his love was unconditional, and he loved all of them, even the Pharisees, just as much as the sinners.
But isn't it hard to love everyone the same all the time? Like, I could see why the older brother didn't want to go to the party and celebrate his brother. He was resenting him, just like the Pharisees.
Absolutely, Jess. Part of being human is knowing that we can never be perfect like Jesus, but we can work hard every single day to try to be more like him. I'm a grown-up and I still have to remind myself of this every single day.
Like when someone makes fun of you or cuts you in line.
Or if someone is in jail and they've broken the law, I have to remind myself that even though they've done something horribly bad, Jesus loved them, and I can respect them as a child of God just like I am.
Wow, that is really hard to do.
You're right, and it's something I have to pray about every single day. I ask that Jesus help me see everyone else just the way that he sees them.
That must be what Father Jeff means when he says Jesus told us to love one another as I have loved you.
Exactly, Jess. You know, we should love everybody the way God loves us, equally. You know, this actually makes me think of a saint that I look up to. Her name is Mother Teresa. She went to an area where people were left to die with a terrible illness called leprosy. And rather than judge them or say it was okay that they died, she began to love and help them heal as best she could. She served them in every way she could because she knows that's what Jesus' love would have looked like.
Oh, wow. You mean she could have gotten sick too? She wasn't scared of them like other people were?
That's right. She saw people, even children, suffering, and she didn't want them to be alone. So she wanted to show them unconditional love, and she loved hundreds of people in her time.
I hope I can be like her and show God's love.
Me too, Jess. She said many wise things while she was alive, and one thing I think about often is spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you that they don't leave feeling happier.
That sounds like what the father did in the parable Jesus told. He didn't care about what his son had done. He just loved him anyway.
Exactly. Catholic kids, it isn't always easy to look past the things that people have done or the ways that they've treated you differently, but buried underneath all of those things, we all have one thing in common: the need to be loved and the ability to give love. Let's try to spend this week thinking about people who we may ignore and find ways that we can show them kindness. And if it's kind of hard to do, work on praying to Jesus that he gives you the strength and ability to see their heart needs love too. Well, that's all we have for today, friends. Join us next week as we have another writer from the Bible, John. He's going to come and share a story that will help us grow and prepare as we get ready for Easter.
Oh, that's right. Easter is coming really soon.
Right around the corner. Well, Catholic kids, we'll see you next week. Bye.